Hey gardeners, I'm Bobby and you're watching Country Garden Girl. Let's talk for a few minutes about drying Macrophylla hydrangea blooms. I have dried these for my dried flower Christmas tree, and if you harvest them at the right time of day, number one, and the right time of year, you are ensured to have nicely dried blooms. So let's go outside now to one of my macrophyllas and we'll harvest some blooms, and I'll show you simply what I do. I'm very simple pretty much with everything I do. I try to be. So anyway, let's head outside. All right, come on, let's go. So I've kind of zoomed in here on this macrophylla because it's all around my utility boxes and stuff. Not the prettiest view, a little bit of cobwebs here. Anyway, you know, it's also called, macrophyllas are also called big leaf hydrangeas, and you can see the big leaves here. So I'm going to cut, and you know, now they've gotten their really, as I said a few minutes ago, they've gotten their really antique color. It's a great time, and you want to harvest your hydrangea blooms when they're kind of dry, you know, but yet in the morning before it gets too hot. Does that make sense? You want to make sure the dew is off of them, but don't wait till it's, you know, hot late afternoon, or you know, you could do it late evening when it's not so hot. Does all that make sense? Anyway, so I'm going to harvest a couple more blooms here, and I don't want to cut too far down into my bush because your macrophyllas will set their buds for the following year in the months of August through October. So they're setting their buds right now for the following year. So if I were to go through and cut off all of these buds and cut way down into my bush, I would probably be cutting off my blooms for next year, and I don't want to do that. So I don't cut down very far into my bush when I want to harvest a bloom. So this one looks pretty good, and I'm doing some smaller ones for my dried flower Christmas tree. So see, I personally, I don't really go any farther, make any farther of a cut than that, because I could see the bud forming on the one I just cut. I could see the bud already forming for next year. So I'm not going to cut any farther. Maybe you do. Maybe you know more about that than I do. But I don't want to lose my blooms for next year. So anyway, that's what I do when I harvest the macrophylla blooms. So we're back inside now, and I harvested a few more after I showed you the one in the video. Anyway, it's hot out there, you know, but you get used to it. I don't know, I do. Maybe, I don't know. Do you? Do you get used to the heat? I do. And I live in Virginia, you know, zone 6B, so it can get really hot, it can get really cold, and they can be just lovely. Anyway, got to stay thankful throughout, right? I just simply pull off all the leaves, strip off all the leaves. So you don't want that foliage just doesn't dry right. So just pull them off real quick. Pull another little piece off. That's okay. But look how good these dried. See how they retain their color? Isn't that nice? Yeah, love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. All right. Speeding this up a little bit. And you know, if you want, now like I said, you might be more brave than I am to cut way down into your bush to have a longer stem. I'm not that brave. I've never cut long stems for mine. I just never have done that. I just don't want to risk cutting off any blooms for next year. But if you want longer stems, you could do floral picks, wrap them around, you know, then you'd have the longer stems to be able to stick down in something, whatever. But I'm just using these for my dried flower Christmas tree mostly. And little bug, sorry. Anyway, speed it up here, Bobby. All right, so then what I do, and you could use the evaporation method with these, you know, put a little bit, and I'll link, or I'll put in the cards, or whatever you call that, the little eye up on top of the screen. I will put my other video of drying paniculata hydrangeas so you can see how I did that. I used the evaporation method. You could use that method with this, but I've always done the hanging upside down method, right? Keep it simple. So just cut a piece of twine, simple, tie it. I wrap it around a couple times because your stem is going to shrink a little bit. So make it good and tight. And that's really all I do. Then sometimes I'll hang, like I'll have, more than one string, and I'll hang them in like this so that to not take up so much room. Then I hang them upside down in my office on my growing racks, and try to keep them out of direct sun because that'll cause them to fade. But then after a week or two, they will be completely dry for you, all the moisture. And especially, like I said in the outdoor part of this video, if you catch them at the right time, in right time of year, right time of day, it's really important. So anyway, I hope this makes sense to you. I hope it's been a simple way for you to learn how to dry. If you have them, utilize them. I mean, sometimes I leave them on the bush throughout the winter for winter interest, but I like to dry some for my Christmas tree or for whatever, right? And you don't have to have a full-on dried flower Christmas tree with only dried flowers. You can just use these as an accent on your Christmas tree or wherever, whatever you do. If you don't use a Christmas tree, you can use them for decorating, right? All right, well, I really appreciate your support of this channel, and we will see you next time. Happy gardening. Thanks for watching. Bye.